Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Hey, welcome back to the 5-Minute Quickie, the FMQ, or the Personal Development Unplugged podcast, with me, Paul. And today, on this episode, this shorter episode, it's all about getting what you want. And getting it more often, and even better than you want. And this is, in effect, just for you to muse, to think a little bit, to get a little bit more curious, to begin to think of the things that you really want to have happen. Big goals, small goals, random. You could just list them out, all the different things you want, because I'm going to go through a process with you of making it easy. But that's going to be on a deeper dive with a longer episode, and probably there'll be a process contained in it, because I love my hypnosis or NLP processes. So we'll find something that goes with it as well. So we make that longer podcast something of real benefit to you. But the thing is, how many have you, to say another way, have you ever been on a goal-setting workshop, a goal-setting course, anything? Online, in person. You see, I find so many people miss the mark on this. They miss the key. They miss the key of being able to get your goal, because, and I'll tell you why, there's so much to do. You forget how much in your life you have to do. You forget the overwhelming amount of steps along the way to achieve your goal. And when you do that, we tend to go, it's a bit like New Year's resolutions. They're just so much, so big. Sometimes we plod through them. Sometimes we get to that plateau and we just, give up. Sometimes we start to get that negative belief that I'm not good enough, I shouldn't be able to do that. Who am I? Because it becomes difficult, overwhelming. There's so much to bloody do. And that's why I want to get this deeper dive going. But in order to get there, I want you to begin to think. But before that, if there was an easier way that if that goal, that thing, the thing you desire, the things that you want is important to you, you would almost certainly guarantee success. That's the process I'm bringing to you. It's almost certainly going to bring you that success. Now you might say, well, okay, Cluffy, why almost bloody certainty? Certainty. That's the word I think I'm looking for. Because I want certainty. We all want certainty. And if I'm going to work on a bloody goal, I want an odds-on chance of succeeding. Especially in the past when I haven't. So what's going to be so different? Well, the difference is you have to own it. And how do you own it? Well, you have to have this thing called the will to do whatever it takes. Because if you've got the will to do whatever it takes, we'll get there. That's a guarantee. So it has to be important to you. And that's why I'm leaving this gap between this 5-minute quickie and the longer podcast, because I want you to write down your goals. And the way I do it is I write them all out. I write every bloody thing out. Everything I can think of all the different things I want. And then I might put them into length of duration. Because this is a goal I might be looking for the end of the year or a year's time. Some may be in 6 months, some may be in 3 months. You can see where I'm going. Some may be a month. Yeah. Some may be at the end of the week. And I just put those down. Now, you can't do them all, which is a bit like that overwhelm. So we've got to pick a few that are important to us, because some of them, when you look at them, when you get them out of your bloody head, because when they're on paper, you can see them better, literally see them better, because you haven't got all that other stuff getting in the way. And you can start to analyse them in a way intuitively. Do I really want it? How important is that one? Well, this one's more important than that one. And start to rate them. This is like a short term, this is medium term, and these are longer term. I'll just go through each section, which is probably the most important one. If I got that short term, it would probably make the others easier. Or it might even help the midterm ones. And then you go through the midterm ones. So what's the most important one here? Because I'll be working a little bit longer on it. But which one would be the most important to me, not any other bugger? No peer pressure here, no pressure from the outside world at all. All the things that people should be doing, could be doing. No, what's important to you? So what's the most important? And just get the top 3. And then the longer ones, exactly the same. And just have a look at them. How important are they? Now, if you haven't listened to the last longer pod, or the episode, I call it a pod, the last longer episode, you might want to do that too, because that's got a little bit of hypnosis in it, and it talks about how to get your mind and body connected to this goal. And it gives you a real good feeling of why you want it. So it's like, instead of knowing your why, feel your why. And if you don't feel it, it ain't that important. But when you feel it, you go, yeah, this is for me. So that's why I'd like to, over the next few days, just take 5 or 10 minutes each day, popping down all the goals you have, all the dreams. You can add to them, remember. This is a moving target. Short term, mid-term, long term. And then put them in order of importance. Because you're going to work, what's the point of working on one which is the least important? Because that's what we tend to do. Sometimes it's the easiest. We tend to look for the easiest way, and what happens? We don't get the best result in the world, do we? So think about this. Do that. And then when you've got them, on the longer podcast, we will dive deeper, because I've got a really good way of making sure that you get the success. You don't give up. You don't just let it go. You don't see it disappear and go, oh, I wish I could have, if only I'd. No, because I've got a way to ensure that doesn't happen. But you have to have that will to do whatever it takes. And the only way you get that is to realise how important it is to you. And you go, do you know what? That's mine. I'm going to do that. Even you might want to think about, what would be a belief that would support me in getting that goal? There's so many good ones. This is a good day. I've got this. Who you are, but if you're Navy SEAL, I'm not. You can tell by my physique and all that stuff. I love, I've got this. It's okay. I deserve this. I'm gonna smash it. This is mine. They're the type of beliefs that I would have as a whole myriad that would go, come on then, let's go. I've got this. Okay? And then we'll get some attitudes and all that stuff. So have a little look, have a little play around with this over the next few days. And then when the longer podcast comes out, you will be able to smash it. Okay? That's what we're going to do. Have fun. If there's anything in between, or I'm going to put an announcement out shortly of the way my podcast episodes, or the Personal Development Unplugged podcast, the episodes within, are going to change slightly. And it'll be open to you to help that change too. So is there anything you want to see, dive into, discover, create? Let me know. Feedback at personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. That's the email. Anyway, this is so important though. This is so important, this part here. So please get it out your head, onto paper. Get it mid-term, short-term, long-term, whichever way you want it. Most important. And then share this with your friends. And make sure you don't miss the next one, by the way. So press that subscribe button. So you know. You can add a notification. I tend to take notifications off because they get on my nerves, keep popping up on the phone. But I know as soon as I've subscribed, I'm going to look for the thing I want. Okay, so it'll be in a week's time. Okay, look for that and let's go. Have more fun than you can stand doing all of this. Go fly.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.